What are you doing? We've got to Trans Studios. No Trans...
It's me.
Wayne!
Yeah.
Oh wow, I never even noticed you.
Yeah, well they do say the thing you
Disguise.
recognise people is the eyes. Cover that up and you're invisible.
That disguise was incredible. I thought you were some sort of, even Sir Lloyd Hawkenstein maybe.
No, I've been placed in a detective role for the next week or so.
Oh okay, so what have you detected?
Well, I've been sent in for the mission of teenagers. Back in our day, Transformations, we just called them Optimus Prime and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're Transformers, but now it's changed, isn't it?
They've got whole new names for them now.
They're like rotation and reflection. Not as good names, are they?
No.
I preferred Optimus Prime, Megatron. They're better.
They were way better. But you've got two of them there.
Yeah.
I was just finalising the other two. There's translation, reflection, rotation, and enlargement.
I did not know about those on Wayne.
There you go. But they're the same as they used to be in terms of the math, so we can teach them.
Okay, let's do that then.
Right.
So, they'll always give you an axis and they give you a shape and you'll have to do stuff to it.
Yep. So if I draw up an axis, we're going to do all 4 of the major transformations to the same shape, just to make it simple. So let's say it's a triangle.
Yeah, I say a right angle triangle, and it's quite a little triangle.
It's quite a little. Let's make it a little bit taller, shall we?
So we've got a triangle, and they'll tell you, well, you can look, they might tell you where each of the corners are, and that's an important thing to do.
Yeah. So let's say in this size we're going to draw it up, and you'd have to determine the coordinates by looking at the graph.
Okay.
So we say this is at 2, this is at, say, 3, it looks about 3. We're at a height of, say, 2,
Okay.
and a height of
4?
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see the height and the
See those
distance.
lines up. There'll be all the rest of the numbers on there, but drawing scales on whiteboards is difficult.
Yep. So we've got this triangle, and we're going to transform it in different ways.
Okay, so one of the easiest transformations is translation.
Yep.
And that's not making your triangle French, that's moving it about.
So if it's in this form, it's a vector form.
Yeah, and that sort of thing there is like a sideways coordinate. So each bit, this bit will affect your x, and that will affect your y.
Yep. So what it means is, every part of the shape is going to go 2 to the right and 3 up.
Precisely.
So if we do that to each of this point.
So, any point you start with, start with that one. It will move across 2, so it'll go to 4.
Yeah, so we'll label that as 4.
And it'll also go up 3, so it'll go all the way up to 5.
Yeah, which is just above here. And that's going to be the new position of this point.
Yeah.
Now what you could do at this point is then do the same thing to these 2 points.
Or you could see the relationship between them, because that won't change.
Yes.
So this one will still be the same y height, but 1 to the right.
Yeah.
So it'll be on 4. It'll be on 5 and 5.
Yeah.
And the other one, it will be 2 higher than there.
Yep. So it's going to. I'm going to have to draw it a bit smaller than it is here because I'm running out of space.
But it'll be at 7.
Yeah. Exactly. And then connect them up. You've got yourself a triangle. The shape doesn't change. It's just its position does.
Yeah. That's not the only transformation they ask. Occasionally they ask for reflections.
Yep, and they'll ask for reflections in specific lines. The reflection could be in the point 0, 0.
Yeah.
They're more often a little bit meaner than that.
So I give you something like y equals 4 or x equals 4. Let's go for x equals 4.
Okay.
So they say reflect in the line x equals 4. So the first thing you should do is draw the line if they haven't already.
So x equals 4 means that when x equals 4, there's a line vertically upwards. There's nothing changing, it's just a line upwards.
And reflecting, you just think of a mirror here.
Yep, so if your mirror is this line.
Yeah. So what I do is I look at the distances between these points and that one, and then add it to the next bit.
So the distance between 3 and 4 is 1.
Yeah.
So the other way, there's going to be a distance of 1.
So that would be at 5, and that will be this point here.
And then this point is 2 from 4, so it'll be 2 this way.
Yes, so that would be at 6.
And this point is in line with that, but is 2 higher, so it'll be 2 higher here.
Yeah, and that will be your triangle.
And they can ask you to reflect it in x equals stuff and y equals stuff, but wherever they ask you to reflect it, that's going to be your reflection point, your mirror.
So those are the 2 easier ones. The 2 harder ones are rotating and enlarging. So we go for rotating first?
That sounds good to me.
So rotating is a bit awkward. I recommend you use tracing paper to sort of iron out mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. They can ask 90, 180 or 270 degree rotations.
They won't ask really awkward rotations, they'll just ask ones that will be easy to judge.
Yes, they won't do sort of 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Be careful, they could ask minus 90.
Yeah.
Which means 90 the other way. 90 means 90 degrees clockwise.
Yeah. That's your positive. So, should we do 90?
Yeah, we can certainly do 90. They ask you to rotate it about a point. Now
Yeah.
that point could be 0, 0, and that's the easiest one. You just
That's
think of
all.
it as like a clock, where that's the centre. It's going to rotate that way.
That's one of your hands, essentially. So this is when I would put a dot in the middle of your tracing paper and draw the triangle, and then keep your finger the same place, and move it 90 degrees, and then draw it again.
Yep. So that's where you'd use tracing paper, and you'd get a triangle that's going to be on its side. It's going to look something like this.
It is.
Now with tracing paper, that's going to be much better, as Triv said.
Yeah.
You make sure you put it about the point. It could ask you to rotate it about the point, I don't know, 2, 3 or something
And then
silly.
and that's the point that then you would put your pencil down and rotate.
So at 2, 3, it's about here. If you draw that, then rotate it, it's going to look something like this. But it's just rotating it about that point. Use your tracing paper.
That'll make it far easier. You can do it by just looking at it, but that you might make a mistake that way. Definitely do it with tracing paper, which they will. You can ask for it in your exam.
Yep. If they don't even, they might even just put it on your table as it is without asking.
Yeah. So last we have an enlargement.
Yes.
Now the name can occasionally be a trick.
It can. You can enlarge it by scale factor 2, means everything's getting bigger by a 2.
But you could enlarge it by scale factor 1/2.
Which actually means it's halving, which seems like shrinking rather than enlarging, but,
But
it's
they
still
still
called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let that catch you out. So, let's do it by 2?
Yep, okay, so if it says enlargement scale factor 2.
Yeah. Every point doubles in size.
Exactly, so this is at the point 2, 2.
Yeah.
So you double both of those, it's now going to be at the point 4, 4.
Yeah.
So 4 goes along here, it comes down.
And that will be.
That'll be your first point.
Yeah. Then you do it to the next point along, so that's going to be, as it's still at 2, so it'll be 4 high, but 6 across.
So it's actually getting bigger as a triangle, which is why it's being called an enlargement.
Yep.
So it's now at 6.
And your last point will go up the same way, so become 4 and 8.
Yes. Which is way, way up here. Again, I can't draw it all the way up because of this really inconvenient GCSE maths sign.
Yeah, but it is a lot bigger. So that is enlargement, it can be smaller, and they can do more than one to the same thing.
What they might give you is a question that they'll draw on triangle A. Let's say this is triangle A.
And then they'll say, enlarge it, make triangle B. So that'll be triangle B.
So triangle B is an enlargement scale factor 2.
Then draw that. Then they might say, translate B by something.
Yep, and that will give you triangle C. So that was 5 vectors, say, no divide sign, 3, 2.
Yeah.
And there you go, and then you draw that.
You just do them in sequence, do it the order they ask you, and you'll be fine.
And that's all of that sort of stuff, transformations.
Yeah. I've heard detectives get really cool gadgets. Is that true?
Of course it's true, of course, I always have good gadgets.
So what's your good gadget?
Oh, this is right here, what I had right at the start.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So is it not just this gadget that is a disguise, no one will be able to see you, is that it?
It does a little more than that.
Really?
Oh yeah, Gadget Q gave it to me, standard issue.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so put yourself in this situation.
Right.
You're in Borneo.
Oh, I love Borneo.
It's great though, isn't it? It's lovely.
Lovely. It's like Oreo.
The problem is, it's really sunny.
Oh, it's very sunny, yeah.
So these actually act as normal shades.
Okay.
But you're undercover at the same time, so it does a lot more than that.
Okay, right.
If you double click this button twice and fold it, that orders you a takeaway.
That's great.
An actual gadget for an actual situation.
Q's outdone himself this
I
time.
know, you didn't think of it. That's
that-
not a ridiculous scenario, is it?
There isn't. Is that Just Eat that does that, or?
No, every country. This works in every country.
Every country.
Look. Barbecue house is on its way.
Oh, great! I love barbecue house.